name is Sam Martinez, and today I would like to share with you a controversial issue that's faced by many businesses today: the ethical implications of child-targeted advertising. And to begin, I'm going to show you this video.
I got my first McNugget! I am so happy right now. I haven't had a McNugget in forever! Okay, here we go. Wow, I'm happy. So good. I don't understand. What makes chicken McNuggets so good?
I think that's where we're going to stop this video for right now. Alright, so what I just showed you was a video, or an excerpt from a video by kid influencer Jojo Siwa, and it was titled 100 Happy Meals in One Day Challenge. And I think that it represents, in a nutshell, the issue of advertising to children. The first problem with this advertisement is the obvious deception that you see right in the title. You and I can recognize that she actually did not eat 100 Happy Meals. Nobody could do that. Clever camera work, and fake eating simply produce that effect. But the majority of children in the intended audience do not realize that. They think that she legitimately just ate 100 McDonald's Happy Meals. The second problem is that Jojo Siwa is seen becoming happier as she eats more Happy Meals. I think at one point in the video she actually says, quote, "I'm so happy right now." And to us, it's obvious that eating 100 Happy Meals would not make you happy. It would make you nauseous, right? But to a child, it's not. And then the last issue is that children don't even realize that this is an advertisement. What they see is a video by their friend Jojo Siwa, when in reality, Jojo Siwa has a deal with McDonald's. Her primary goal is to mislead her fans, rather than actually inform them on what's good for them. And this product placement is just one of many ways in which children are exploited through advertising. So advertising to children is unethical, and we need to change how society and businesses approach this. In this presentation, I'll examine the problem of child advertising, propose a solution, and explain how this will benefit you. The problem is marketing, specifically intended to children under 12 years old to mislead them and take economic advantage of them. Alright. In a study performed by the American Psychological Association, it was found that age and its correlation with cognitive development affects how children respond to advertising. Children younger than 4 years old are unable to distinguish messages from advertisement. Children, even when phrases like "Paw Patrol will return after these messages" is played, they are still inconsistent in telling ads from their TV shows. From ages 4 to 8, children begin to differentiate ads from entertainment. However, this is only based on the content. They may notice that ads have more colors, or ads are shorter and funnier. And only when a child reaches age 8 do they start to understand persuasive intent behind an ad. They begin to understand that the person making that video simply wants their allowance. And problems arise when the commercials intentionally mislead kids. For these examples, I've chosen cereal ads for simplicity and consistency, and I'd like to point out a few things that we see in them. In the farthest, we see Reese's Puffs, a popular breakfast cereal. We see three children, not children, they're looking a little older than children, but they look happy, they're surrounded by friends, and they look cool, most importantly. Next, we see Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, recognizable by that tiger there, and we see a young athlete eating the Frosted Flakes, and then throughout the ad, he becomes faster and better in sport. And then finally, this girl, when she eats Lucky Charms, is taken to a magical world. These are all commercials that have actually been shown to kids, and the problem here is that kids legitimately believe that if they eat Reese's Puffs, they will be cooler, or if they eat Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, they'll run faster. Obviously, no kid is going to be taken to a magical world. So it's clear that this is an unethical practice, especially because the cereals in question are actually negative for the children. They're unhealthy. To really show the extent of this issue, a famous documentary, Super Size Me, conducted an interview with a number of elementary-age children in which they were showed each of these images and asked to identify the person in them. Responses to the first one varied. It's obvious that that's George Washington, and many kids correctly identified him as George Washington. but they went on to describe him as the fourth president, the one who freed the slaves, and the one who could never tell a lie. The second had by far the lowest rate of recognition. Jesus Christ was recognized by 0 children. One actually guessed Bill Clinton. And the third picture showed a remarkable shift. Most of the children correctly identified this girl as Wendy, from fast food restaurants, billboards, and advertisements. And finally, nearly every child recognized Ronald McDonald, the happy clown at McDonald's who sells Happy Meals. So clearly children have been exposed to these marketing ploys by big corporations. So what's our solution here? To solve this problem, we need to implement legislation for kids and educate them to prevent them from being victimized by advertising. As easy as it would be to simply say that big businesses need to be more ethical and act responsibly, this could never realistically work. So clear, concrete solutions are needed. So first, the U.S. currently does impose some advertising regulations. The Federal Trade Commission has several policies that deal with children specifically. For example, Section 5 of the FTC essentially prohibits targeted advertising to children dishonestly. Likewise, Truth in Advertising makes it illegal to directly lie. And COPPA is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which limits what advertisers can show to kids, like inappropriate content, smoking, or alcohol. The Children's Television Act, enforced by the Federal Trade Commission, or Communications Commission, limits the amount of time commercials can occupy of educational space. However, these problems do not do enough to solve the bigger issue. It's evident that there are currently some protections, and the government recognizes that children should be treated differently from adults when it comes to advertising, but the proper steps haven't been taken. Which takes us into one of the greatest examples of how legislation can be used to protect children from unfair advertising. In 1992, the Norwegian government passed the Broadcasting Act to ban television and advertisements aimed at children. And in 1999, they implemented a committee under the Norwegian Media Authority to enact it. This committee analyzes advertisements and determines whether they are aimed directly at children. If they are, they cannot be shown on the air. It's illegal. As a result, children are protected from the influence of consumerism until they are old enough to understand it fully. The U.S. and other countries should pass similar legislation to build on what is already in place. The second component of the solution is to teach kids how to avoid being deceived. American schools have a long history of non-academic initiatives, such as anti-drug and anti-bullying programs. And I think that a similar advertising awareness campaign could teach children about a variety of topics, including but not limited to recognizing advertising, the purpose of marketing, targeting, product placement, and deceptive advertising or false claims. This would help children grow up to become smarter consumers. So how does this benefit you, the audience? Well, admittedly, not much right now, in the short term. However, in the long term, this solution's impact on future generations would benefit you. If you have children, they will grow up to be healthier and more intelligent people. And even if you don't, as you age and retire, you are reliant on the younger population to support you, physically and financially. The most tangible result of this solution would be the health benefits. As seen in this graph of obesity rate by country, Norway, right there, has among the lowest obesity rates in the entire world. And there's a clear correlation between this and the limitations it has placed on advertising to children. A similar example illustrates this in cigarette ads on TV and radio. The anti-smoking initiative began in 1970 to begin to curb the problem of U.S. growing cigarette consumption. It became illegal to broadcast or show cigarette ads on television or on radio. And so, additionally, as new information was circulated about the health risks of smoking, cigarette consumption decreased drastically. We see in the graph 1970, the year when this was enacted. After that, cigarettes dropped greatly, and health increases. It is clear that when negative influences are removed from children, they make healthier decisions. The other benefit is financial independence. In the short term, estimates by experts place the buying power of children at somewhere around $1.2 trillion per year. This is the money they directly spend, as well as the influence they have on their parents' buying. So in the long run, children who are taught that material possessions bring happiness will spend money that they don't have using credit cards that they can't pay for on items that they don't really need. In closing, I'd like to make a few takeaways here. There are some serious issues. The first is that children are exploited by advertising corporations. This is a fact. It's a serious issue. Next, we can solve this through legal change and action, and we have the right and responsibility to demand legal reform. Additionally, children need to be educated to make informed decisions, and doing this will lead to a healthier, more financially independent culture. Thank you.